This video, let's bring in a SketchUp file inside of layout. So to do that, I've already set up my drawing properly. Maybe I need to just delete this one because that doesn't really make sense to have the north elevation, but let's just leave it there for the time being. So go to File, go to Insert, and this is the file that we created previously, so I'm just going to use that house to layout that we prepared previously with the scenes. So I'm going to open it up, and right away it's going to show up with the last view that we had, which was of the elevation that we created. And now if I go into my SketchUp models section in my default tray, you see the scenes that are available here, and the scale, the line type, how it's going to be. Is it going to be vector, raster, or hybrid? All of these are going to show up here. So the first thing that I want to have in my drawing is my plan. So I'm going to right click and go to scenes, and I can have plan here. Click on plan. I can do that, or I can also select the drawing that I brought in and change this to plan. Either way works, and we get our plan. So another thing that I forgot to mention was if you change the sections properties, you won't see these dark lines, and I'll show you in a bit how that is done. But before that, I just want to change the scale of this drawing. Now what I can do is I can go here and go to units, to scale, and change the scale to 1/8. So when I do that, it's gonna scale my drawing to 1/8. And another thing that I want to do once I scale it is I want to make sure this preserve scale on resize is on. What that does is whenever I resize my drawing like so, it doesn't rescale it, so that reduces the amount of headaches that I have to go through when I change certain things in my drawing. So that's my plan here according to scale. This is 1/8 scale and a plan. So that's there. I'm just going to leave it for now, and I'm going to go into my second page here. Let's delete this. I don't need that. And I'm going to copy this. So Control C. I'm going to go into the next page and paste it. Control V. Or what I can do is edit, paste. Either one works. Now in this page I want to have my elevations. So I'm going to go right click and change my scene to front elevation. Or I can do it here as well. Either one works. Now another thing that I can do is I can change this type to vector, raster, hybrid. Now changing to vector is the best possible thing to do because it reduces the amount of computation it takes. So having vector is good, but sometimes the lines and the drawings don't look that good. Like rendering, while good for line drawings, cannot represent complex styles. That's what it says. So for a basic line drawing, it's going to be okay like this. So it looks very crisp and nice. So I'm just going to leave it as it is right now because this particular drawing, I don't have many complex graphics here. So this looks okay to me. So I'm going to move it here. Make sure the scale is set to 1/8. So that's fine. Everything looks fine. And then I'm going to Control C, Control V again to copy and paste. And I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to right click and change the scene to side elevation. So I have my two elevations in this page. Next I'm going to go into my last page and Control V to get my last section included. So scenes, put my last section in there, and that's about it. So if I move into my pages here, I have the car page where I don't have anything here. Maybe what I need to do is add a nice rendering of the house here. Then the inside page I have my plan, then the elevations, than my section. So that's how it's laid out in the pages. And if I wanted to add something new, now let's say I've linked my SketchUp model to this layout. Now if I change certain things in SketchUp, it's gonna show up here as well, but it doesn't automatically show up, so I need to update the model. Now let me show you what I mean. So let's say I'm gonna go into my SketchUp file again, and I'm gonna add a rectangle here, right? And yeah, that's fine, just to show what it really does. And I need to, once I make a change, I need to save the file in SketchUp, and then I'm going to go into layout again, and now it doesn't really show up here without doing anything. So what I need to do is I need to right click, and I need to update my model. So I go here and say update model reference, right click and say update model reference. When I do that, it's updating the reference. I take a minute or so, and now it shows up. So now this particular rectangle shows up. Let's go back. If I delete this, if I delete this and save it again, and I go back here, right click and update model reference. Give it a few seconds. There you go, it goes away. Alright, so now another thing, if I wanted to add a new plan, something more graphical than what we have here, I can do that as well. So let's duplicate this. Let's add a scene. So I have this, I'm gonna rename it as let's get this closed off so that I can see plan graphic, right? And what I can do is I can change the style of this graphic. So rather than having it like this, I can go into sorted styles maybe and do perhaps something like that. And I don't want this one here, or whatever that is, I'm hiding that. So this is how I want this to look like. And also what I can do is I can play around with shadows. So I'm gonna enable my shadow toolbar, and once I enable the shadow toolbar, I need to click on show and hide shadows, and that creates a nice graphical element here. So once that's done, oh, something that I forgot to mention was the line. So but let's update this first. Update scene, and we have that. We have this plan still like so. So these fill lines, I can change that as well. I can right click and go to my section toolbar here, and if I click on display section fills, it's not the plan is not filled. So you can use it like that, but I prefer to have the section lines filled, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. So this is what I want to bring into my drawing again. In order to do that, I need to save this file first, and I'm going to go back into my layout, and even though this is not the file that I'm working with, I'm going to update model reference. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this to my front page. So I'm going to copy it, Control C, and move to my front page and paste it here. And I'm going to change the scene to the plan graphic. Now you see, once I update it, whatever scene that I'm updating, it's going to update the entire model. So this plan graphic is popping up here now. So if I change that, you see that plan graphic comes in quite nicely, and I kind of like the way that it looks, so that it looks pretty cool. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Maybe move these so that I can see, and it's still to scale, so that's good as well. And this is kind of a graphic that I want. And maybe if I want to fill this in completely, I can go here. I can do, well, maybe I need to change this so that I can see. Well, I think the fill, I want to change the fill to this, and I don't need a pattern here. So there you go. And I just created a block and changed the color to, by using the drop tool, eyedropper tool, I changed that color. And what I want to do is have this as the background to my plan, but the issue now is that my plan is behind the block that I just created, the box that I just created. So I need to arrange the way that these are set up. So I can right click and go to arrange and say center back. Now we have the nice background, my plan in the middle. Looks quite okay. The graphic that I want to have, maybe I can have some text here to make it more graphically pleasing. In the next video, let's take a look at how to add other elements inside of layout.